Hi everyone, my name is Matt and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing installation of Python, and I wanted to go over the ins and outs of installing Python on Windows, and I probably will make another video for installing it on Linux, Mac, and a Raspberry Pi. But for today we're going to focus on Windows. In this series I'm going to cover the basics of Python. Python is a versatile and beginner-friendly programming language that has gained immense popularity due to its simplicity and readability. Whether you're interested in web development, data analysis, or automation, learning Python is a fantastic starting point. So in this video, I'm going to introduce you to Python. I'm going to guide you through the installation process on Windows, and I'm going to have another video for Linux, Mac, and the Raspberry Pi. All right, let's go ahead and jump into it and let's get started. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to navigate your web browser to python.org. That's where we're going to get our installation of Python. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to visit the official Python website, python.org, and navigate to the download section, which you can see right here. I'm going to go ahead and click on the button so we move to that page, but you can download it right from the drop-down menu on that button. So what we want to do is we want to choose from the latest stable version of Python for Windows, in this case, and we need to select the appropriate installer. And that's going to be based on what our system architecture needs. So if you need to have a 32-bit, which you might, most of you are going to choose 64-bit though. I'm going to choose 64-bit. I'm going to go ahead and click the button and it's going to start downloading. So once the download is complete, we're going to go ahead and click on it and we're going to run the installer. Now this part's fairly simple, but there are a couple of things that you're going to want to pay attention to, and that is that we want to make sure that we install the path, the Python path. That's important. When you get started in it, you start calling your Python script and they don't run. Windows doesn't know where to find this information. So we're going to go ahead and hit install now. So once that's done, you're going to get a message like this one that says that the setup was installed successfully. And at that point, you can just click close. There's nothing more that we need to do to install Python. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then what we want to do is we want to verify that the installation was successful. So we're going to open up our command prompt. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the Windows key on my keyboard, and we can see right there that Python is installed, but we're going to test it. So I'm going to type in CMD, and I'm going to run the command prompt, and then I'm going to type Python, 2 dashes, and the word version, and it's going to let me know right there. Let's see if I can, I think that you'll be able to see that, but I'm going to zoom in anyway. And it's going to show that we installed Python 3.11.4, 3.11.4. And as far as installing Python, that's it. That's all you need to do. Python is now installed in your computer. You're now ready to move on to the next step. So now that that's installed, we want to be able to work with the code. But one that I use is Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code Community Edition is free. There's also another one that I used quite a bit, and that is PyCharm. I'm probably going to code everything in Visual Studio Code for the rest of this series. That's because I like Visual Studio Code and I like that it runs within the browser window. But I really like Sublime Text, even though Sublime Text won't let you run the code within the program. You have to go out and run it in the terminal or in the command line. All right, that's it. That's everything we need to do to install Python on our computers, and in this case, specifically our Windows computers. So now the last thing that we need to do before we're completely done setting everything up is we need to have an editor that we're going to use to write in Python. I use Visual Studio Code. It doesn't really matter which one you choose. It's up to you. There's Sublime Text, there's Notepad++, there's Visual Studio Code, which is the one I'm using, and it goes on like that for a while. Choose one that you like, get familiar with it, switch it up, it doesn't matter. I think I've expressed this a couple of times in the video. It's up to you. You choose the one you want. I'm gonna go over to, if you choose to go with something else, don't worry, it's not gonna hurt my feelings. I probably have all of them that you could choose from. I'm not going to go over the full installation guide for both of them because I'm going to be using primarily Visual Studio Code for Windows to do most of this. Now, Visual Studio Code is available for Linux, as you can see here, or Mac, and it's going to fill the gap for most of the issues that you might run into through the series that I'm going to do. So if you're using Windows, if you're using Linux, if you're using Mac, this is what I would recommend. But there's also Notepad++, which is also a perfectly fine editor. We're going to go ahead and install for Windows 8, 10, and 11. It's going to automatically download here for you. Go ahead and accept the terms of agreement. Unless you don't, then it's on you. Go ahead and install it really quickly. I'm also adding add to path requires shell restart, which is what we're going to do. Any of the other options right here are going to be up to you if you want to create a desktop icon. I'm going to do that right here just for giggles. Okay, we're done. We're going to go ahead and load Visual Studio Code. Now this part is preference. It's really up to you what you want to do here. I like to have colorful dark mode. You can go to this. It's a little bit hard on the eyes after a while. And then there's these high contrast versions that are down here. I'm not a big fan of high contrast. I like the dark mode. Dark mode with very colorful text is my go-to. All right, and then you can set this up any way you want to. I'm just going to leave a lot of the rest of this as defaults. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to install Python in Visual Studio Code, and we just need to come over here to this box right here, which is for extensions. Come up to the top and type in Python, or as you can see, Python is very popular. It automatically just popped up. All you have to do is click install, and you'll see that it moves over to this page and it shows you that it's installing. You can see right here underneath the Python information. Okay, so now we're ready to go ahead and get started. So first thing we're going to do is we're just going to test to make sure it works. I want everything to be up and running so that when we get into the next video, we can go ahead and just go straight to it. So I'm going to go ahead and click File, New Text File. We're going to go ahead and hit Control S to save. I'm just going to put it on the desktop for right now since I'm not actually doing anything with it. And then I'm going to call it test.py. And then I'm going to hit enter. It's going to save and it's going to open it up for us. Okay, so you can see right here we're in test.py and we're going to print. And I know that this is what everyone does, but and we're going to give it an exclamation point. Print hello world like all of the other ones do, and then we're going to hit play over here, which is going to run the code. There we go. It took forever. I hit it twice. But see, we can see that it is down here running the code. All right, we got everything installed and we are ready to go. So I will see you in the next video.